My aunt left me the mirror when she died. An antique, tall, heavy black wood frame with strange carvings around the edges. She always said it was older than it looks. I never really liked it. But when she passed, it came with the house, and I didn't have the heart to throw it away, so I kept it in the hallway, facing the stairs. That was the first mistake. It started with whispers, late at night, faint, almost like someone calling my name from far away. I'd stand by the mirror, just listening, and the whisper would stop. I thought maybe I was tired, stress, grief. But then I started hearing it even during the day, always coming from the mirror, not through it, from it. Then I noticed my reflection was off, not wrong, just slightly delayed, like it was thinking before copying me. At first I laughed it off, told myself it was all in my head, but one night I stood there for 10 minutes, just watching, staring at my reflection, barely blinking, barely breathing, and suddenly my reflection smiled. I didn't. I stopped looking into it after that. I covered it with a bedsheet, left it alone, tried to forget. But then strange things started happening around the house. The sound of footsteps in the hall at 3 a.m., cold spots that moved, things disappearing only to reappear inside the mirror. One morning, I found my keys on the other side of the glass, I swear. I was looking at the mirror, and there they were resting on the floor inside the reflection, but not in real life. I called a priest, told him it might be haunted. He asked me to describe the carvings on the frame. When I did, he went silent. Then he asked if I'd ever heard of soul-binding mirrors. I hadn't. He said they were ancient objects, used in dark rituals. The carvings were not decorative, they were seals. To trap something inside, he told me to destroy it immediately. That night, I tried. I dragged the mirror outside, smashed it with a hammer, but it didn't break, not even a crack. Instead, I saw my reflection grin again. Then it raised its hand and tapped on the inside of the glass, like it was trying to get out. The next morning, the mirror was back inside the house. Same spot, same position. I didn't move it. I didn't even open the door that night. I'm scared now, because last night when I passed it, there were two reflections, me and something standing behind me, tall, shadowed, grinning wide. And this time, it whispered my name, out loud. It all began when we moved into a new rental house at the edge of a quiet neighborhood. The house looked simple, almost too normal. But from the very first night, something felt wrong. The moment we stepped in, I noticed something strange about the mirrors. There were mirrors in every room. Some were cracked, others oddly placed, like they were watching us. I didn't think too much of it at first, but I should have. The first few days were peaceful. My wife was happy, the kids were settling in, but then things started to change. One night, while brushing my teeth, I looked into the bathroom mirror, and for a second, I saw myself blink, twice, but I hadn't blinked at all. It was like my reflection had a mind of its own. I laughed it off. Maybe I was tired. Maybe I imagined it. But that was just the beginning. A few days later, my wife asked me something strange. She said, "Did you come into the kitchen at 3 a.m. last night?" I said no. She looked pale. She told me she saw me standing in front of the fridge, staring at nothing, not moving, just standing there. For almost 15 minutes. I told her she must have been dreaming, but I could tell she was scared. And honestly, so was I. That same night, I went to check the living room before bed. I saw something in the reflection of the window glass, a tall figure, standing in the hallway behind me. I turned around. Nothing was there. But the reflection, it stayed for just a moment longer, and then it smiled. I didn't sleep that night. Soon, it wasn't just me. My daughter said she saw another daddy in the mirror. She said he looked like me, but his eyes were wrong. She said he was whispering to her, telling her to do things. We covered all the mirrors after that, every single one. But no matter what we did, they'd always be uncovered the next morning, like something wanted to be seen. One day, my wife started acting strange, distant, cold. She wouldn't look me in the eye. She wouldn't speak unless I asked her something. Then she began talking to the mirrors, whispering, sometimes smiling like she was hearing a joke I couldn't hear. Other times, she'd just stare for hours, unblinking, unmoving. I begged her to stop. I told her we needed to leave, but she refused. She said, "This house is ours now. You can't leave. You belong here." That night, I woke up to find her standing beside the bed, not sleeping, just watching me, smiling. I took the kids and ran to my brother's house the next morning. But even there, the mirrors were wrong. I'd catch glimpses of that same figure, that twisted version of me, standing behind me, wearing my face, smiling that same sick grin. I tried to ignore it, tried to pretend it wasn't real, but then my daughter disappeared. I found her in the attic, standing in front of a mirror we didn't even own, and she said something I'll never forget. "Daddy, he said you're the fake one. He said you don't belong here." I shattered the mirror instantly, but the moment it broke, I saw it again, just for a second, me, still standing there in the shards, smiling. We left that night. I don't care about the lease. I don't care about the deposit. We burned everything we had and never looked back. But every now and then, when I pass by a mirror, I see something out of place, a slight delay in my reflection, or a smile that lasts just a second too long, and I wonder, did we ever really leave that house? Or did something follow us? When we moved into the house, it seemed perfect. Old, yes, but it had character. Wooden floors, big windows, a cozy fireplace, a perfect place for a fresh start. But there was one thing I never noticed, until I started to hear strange noises at night. It started with soft knocks, thuds on the walls, but no one was there. I thought it was just the house settling. You know, the usual sounds old houses make. But then, the noises changed. They weren't random anymore. They were rhythmic, like someone was trying to get my attention. And the source was always the same, the farthest corner of the upstairs hallway. I went upstairs one night. I had to know where the sounds were coming from. There, at the end of the hall, was a door I had never seen before. It wasn't part of the house's original design. It wasn't in the blueprints. It looked old, like it had been forgotten for years. I didn't remember seeing it when we moved in, and yet, here it was, completely out of place. I opened the door. I didn't expect much. Maybe a closet, maybe an old storage space. But what I found was terrifying. The room inside was freezing cold. It smelled like dust and decay. The air felt heavy, wrong, like it had been shut off from the rest of the world for decades. And then I saw the walls, covered with scratches, long, jagged, desperate marks, not from an animal, but from something trying to escape. I stepped further inside. The floor creaked beneath me, and then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something move. A shadow. Quick, lurking in the corner of the room. I turned. Nothing. Nothing but the cold, empty walls. I thought it was just my imagination. But the next night, I heard the sounds again, louder, closer, faint whispers, coming from behind that door. I couldn't resist. I opened it again. But this time, the room had changed. The walls had more scratches, deeper this time, and the air felt even colder. That's when I noticed something else. Something was written on the wall, in faded, almost illegible letters. A warning. Do not let them in. I didn't know what it meant, but that was when I started to feel like I wasn't alone. At night, I would hear footsteps upstairs, but no one was there, and I could hear faint whispers, coming from behind the door, from the forgotten room. I stopped sleeping. I stayed awake, listening. The whispers started to become clearer. Let us out. Please, let us out. I tried to ignore it, told myself I was just imagining things. But then, one night, I woke up to see a figure standing in the doorway. A shadow. It was tall, thin, like it was crouching, and it was watching me. The next morning, the door was wide open. I hadn't left it open. I hadn't touched it. I stepped inside the room and the smell was overwhelming. Rotting, decaying flesh. The walls were covered with more scratches, and the writing on the wall had changed. It now said, "Let us out, or we'll take you." I haven't gone back since. I lock the door every night. I keep the house as quiet as possible. But sometimes, late at night, I hear the whispers again, coming from the walls, from the forgotten room. I can't escape it. I don't think anyone can. It started the week we moved into the farmhouse. A quiet place in the countryside, secluded, too cheap to be real. My mom was thrilled. She called it our fresh start. After the divorce, she wanted to get far away from the city, someplace peaceful. I was 16. I didn't really care. The place looked old, but solid. 2 stories, a long front porch, overgrown garden, and silent woods behind it. Our first night there, I remember laying in bed, just staring at the ceiling. That's when I heard it. A scratching sound, soft, steady, like nails against wood, coming from inside the wall beside me. I thought it was just mice. Mom said the same. Old house, probably just some rats in the walls. But then, the next night, it got worse. The scratching turned into dragging, like something long and sharp was slowly scraping the inside of the wall from one end to the other. And the worst part? It would stop as soon as I sat up. Dead silent. Like whoever or whatever was making that sound knew I was listening. 2 nights later, I woke up to a folded piece of paper under my door. It wasn't there when I went to sleep. It was a drawing, a crude sketch of me, sleeping in my bed, from above. As if someone was in the ceiling, watching. I thought it was a prank. Maybe Mom was messing with me to scare me. But when I showed her, she freaked out. She swore she didn't do it. We searched the house that day, top to bottom, nothing. The next night, I set up my phone to record, just to prove I wasn't crazy. In the morning, I checked the video. The scratching started around 2:17 a.m. Then, around 2:42, the closet door opened, very slowly. I didn't see anyone, but I swear to God I heard breathing. And then, a dark shape moved just at the edge of the frame, like someone crawling on the floor. The video ended abruptly. That's when Mom called the police. They came, searched the house, didn't find anything. But they noticed something weird. The hallway closet, the back wall of it was hollow. They knocked, and it echoed. There was a space behind it. They removed the wall and found a hidden crawl space. Inside, There were old blankets, crumpled food wrappers, empty water bottles, and a notebook. Inside were sketches, dozens of them, all of us, sleeping, eating, showering. He'd been watching us since the first day. They never found him, the man behind the walls. They think he escaped into the woods when the cops came. We moved out the next day, didn't take anything, left it all behind. But I still can't sleep, because I wonder, what if he followed us? What if he's behind these walls now,